Are you feeling like you get overstimulated by things that are going on around you? If people are arguing, if there's loud noises, if there's really bright lights, there's just a lot of information. Do you feel easily overstimulated or overloaded? And then do you find like you don't even know how to deal with this intensity that you are feeling in your body and your nervous system? Perhaps what you don't realize is that what you think right now is a weakness and that you feel overstimulated and you feel all this intensity that you don't know what to do with. Perhaps you don't realize that this is actually your strength. And it's your strength because it makes you more perceptible of things that are not just of the five senses. And it opens you up to other clairs, like being clairvoyant, clairaudient, claircognizant, clairsentient. So let's talk about all that. And welcome to my channel, the Whole Wellness Method YouTube channel. I'm so glad you're here. If you're new to my channel, I'm Lita Sportel. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and a functional health coach. And today I want to share with you about one of the main characteristics that empaths and highly sensitive people have, which is being overly sensitive and easily overstimulated and having a heightened nervous system where they can sense and feel a lot of things that can make it feel like a really uncomfortable situation. And most empaths perceive this as a weakness that they have, when the truth is that this is their strength. This is going to be an amazing conversation, and I have my dear friend and fellow empath, Gilli Henson, to have this conversation with. Let's get to it. And before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so right now and hit the bell button to get notified when I post a new video. Let's get to our conversation. We're highly perceptible in all our senses. It's this extra awareness of all the different senses and above the five senses as well. So we could be very clairvoyant, or all the other clairs could be very developed. And whether we realize it or not, it could, if we don't realize it, it could be overwhelming because there is all this information that we're feeling, and we're already, the receptors in our nervous system are already heightened. So now we're getting the information, and it really brings in this high stimulation in our nervous system, which can then manifest in physical symptoms, fatigue, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, a lot of pain in the body, addictions because we don't know how to cope with all these emotions, emotional eating, addictive relationships, on and on and on. A lot of different ways where we're trying to compensate for this extra sense of being vulnerable. It can feel like a weakness unless we land into these conversations in some way or another and realize it's actually our strength.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I love what you just said, because it can be seen as a weakness. And most of the time, are the people around us who aren't aware of what an empath is or are not empaths themselves will make you think differently of yourself. You'll be in that victim mentality of, I've got this label, I'm too sensitive, I'm just going to go in my room and be by myself, instead of harnessing that power to tap into that subtle energy and be a powerful healer in that moment, or just a powerful communicator in that moment. Yeah. You do have the power. It's just when all that information is coming in and you already have your own things going on, it's compounded, and you're like, it's too much. I don't know what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, what I'm doing. Oh my goodness, I'm just gonna go read a book. Maybe I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm not gonna be here anymore. So we need to learn how to clear that energy out of ourselves as well. Like whatever we're holding on to, we need to be cognizant of it, aware. Our awareness needs to be built up.
And I really want to go back to that, where we can give them some steps and a nice grounding exercise that you've created to bring that awareness back into within us. And before we get there, can we give people just a little bit of an idea of some experiences that they might be having? One that comes to mind right away for me is feeling that you feel a lot, that things happen during the day and it's like you take them more seriously than others. People maybe can just go through life and during a day things happen and they just keep moving along and it doesn't seem like it bothers them so much. Yet for you it's like things linger a bit more and your heart is processing
Mhm.
things and you need just a bit more time to process this loud voice, this tone of voice that your kid has had or your partner doing this and it's like you're feeling a little bit more, interpreting a bit more, needing a little more time to process. And at times you might also feel like you get more emotional or that you cry and you're like what, you're kind of blaming yourself because you're crying and you're like why am I so sensitive, yet that's again the way your body and your nervous system is releasing and is processing all the input that's coming in.
Yeah, that's another reason why empaths need a good sleep cycle. They
Yep.
need adequate sleep because, well, one, your body is replenishing and regenerating while you sleep and healing itself. But because we're taking all that extra sensory stimuli, we need the time to just rest and be and not be in the thinking state, not be in the receptive state, even though you can receive things in your dreams. And just allow yourself that space. And even if you're in the heat of the moment with somebody, saying, "Hey, I understand we're having a communication here. It's not we're not quite connecting. I'm going to take 15 minutes and just go be by myself for 15 minutes because I recognize in myself that I get very reactionary if I don't have that 15 minutes and I just fall into the flow or the energy the other person and I are sharing,
Yeah.
which isn't always a peaceful interaction. So it's like, okay, I need that 15 minutes. And then I'm so much more aware of what I'm actually feeling, what my heart is actually telling me, because I'm not reacting in a way that my heart wants me to react or that my true self wants to react. So having that space is so important.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because it's one of the other signs of being an empath is that you find that if you don't have that time to process things or that alone time to really look into your feelings and allow the process and the energy to move through, that you get very reactive and maybe anger shows up and you are caught up in this cycle of just being really frustrated and angry and yelling and whatever it is, or you just go and hide and you want to shut down and I give up type of depression, right? So either the fighting or the fleeing, but very much in its intensity of more than like we all have fight or flight, but for an empath it can really feel super heightened
Yeah.
in the moment of the fighting or the anger of trying to react and get their point across, or in the moment of shutting down and being like I can't do this anymore, this is just too much for me.
Yeah. And since empaths tend to see things or sense things on a deeper level and have a deeper understanding, um, and let's say the other person you were speaking to is a little bit more on the surface level of their feelings and emotions and what they take in, it can be challenging to get your point across in a way that they're actually going to receive it because they just can't simply see it that way. They're not at that level at that moment. Not that they couldn't ever get there. They're just
Right.
not there right then. So it's like you have to have that just cut yourself some slack. Cut the other person some slack. Provide some grace and give that space.
Yeah. Did this conversation resonate with you? Let me know in the comments. I would really love to hear how this felt to you. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell so that you can get notified every time I post a new video. And let me tell you, I have a lot of videos to post in these conversations as we continue to explore what it means to be an empath and what a powerful strength that is that you have. And if you want to join a community that has other empaths that support each other and understand our differences and our strengths, then come and join the Whole Wellness membership community, and I will put a link below in the description. And I will see you next time, leaving you in whole wellness. Bye-bye.